Hello, everyone, and welcome to RPG Talks, your one stop shop for everything RPGs. And today, we're not talking about RPGs specifically, but more so the gaming hobby in general and the most important topic of all time when it comes to YouTube and modern gaming, which is the backlog. So, for this third episode, we're not focusing on RPGs in general, but on some external tools and some of the reflections and thoughts I have been having on some of these external tools that I'm going to show you that are used to mostly track your backlog in your day-to-day play. So we will have Silksong gameplay for today's video because we have to celebrate the release of Silksong, which has been in development for 7 years, and now that it's out, I am playing it myself. Even though it's not an RPG, I think it's a game to be celebrated, and I'm glad that a lot of people are enjoying it. So let's get right into the meat of things, and let's talk about the backlog. Now, there is a lot that can be said about the backlog, but a lot has already been said about the backlog, even on this channel. If you don't know, I used to be a gaming channel that was mainly focused on trying to beat the entirety of my gaming library and giving tips and helping others by showing my progress and motivating the entirety of the gaming community to push forward and play the games that they already own instead of going and buying and incentivizing people to just feed into the FOMO and buy the most recent things. But the main thing that you have to take away out of the backlog hobby is that it can be either really simple or really complex. Now, outside of the more commonly used Microsoft Excel spreadsheet that a lot of people tend to use when tracking their backlogs, in the backlog community there are two main platforms which people tend to use to track their libraries and games that they are playing. And those two are none other than, and let's skip here to Chrome, Backloggd and Infinite Backlog. Now, here's the reason I decided to talk about this in this video. I was thinking about Infinite Backlog and Backloggd and my journey with tracking my own games and library and how I like to schedule and journal everything that I play. And I have found that most recently I have hopped between platforms too much and it has made it hard for me to track my games accurately. So I decided to go down to the root of the problem of why I was deciding to switch so much between these two platforms mainly, and I had to discover what really made me prefer one over the other. So let's start here by Infinite Backloggd. I have talked about Infinite Backloggd previously on my channel, and it's a really good platform. Infinite Backloggd is all about community and platform. Like, you can have friends here, you can discuss and have community posts, you have challenges and everything that I'm going to show you here in a second, but this is about integration and automation and community. This is all Infinite Backlog is about. It's about inserting all your accounts, and so the platform itself tracks what games you are adding to your account and does it all automatically for you, and you can just then input any details that you'd like to have for any game. Like here, as you can see, it tracks my PlayStation account, my Steam account, my GOG account, my Retro Achievements account, and even my Final Fantasy XIV account, and then it shows me, like, per day what I am playing. Like, you can see here that 18 hours ago, because it usually updates on a daily basis, I got 2 achievements in Silksong, and 21 hours ago I got 5 achievements in this Stuart Little PS2 game that I'm playing on an emulator. And that's basically the gist of this platform. And also, as I mentioned, you have the community part. Here, if I go to home, you have posts and reviews from other people that you can check out and debate whether you like certain games or not, and if you have a certain different opinion, and you can even put out polls in case you want an opinion on what you should play or anything of the sorts. And it's a very good platform. You also have stuff like challenges which can motivate you to play your own games. You have here like thematic challenges for recent releases, game series, and maybe even they have like different stuff for like when the awesome games done quick, like the summer event for speedrunning was happening, they had a call out to like just finish those games, and you would earn certain points that you can then showcase on your profile right here by earning like different badges. As you can see, I have different badges from different events that I've been in here in this website, such as connecting my accounts, creating polls, earning achievements, joining certain events like Backlog Golf, and you have all of that stuff here. But as you can imagine, having so much stuff when it comes to the backlog can make what was supposed to be a tool to simplify the entire process quite overwhelming. Because it really depends on what type of tracker you are. There are two types of people that exist when it comes to backlog tracking. There are people who just want to have like a text note list of the games and then just check them out in front and say done, and that's okay. But websites like these tend to be for people who like to do stuff such as tagging, as you can see here in games like, let's say, World of Warcraft Classic. I have different tags such as Mists of Pandaria Classic, a DLC. It's a continuous game, it doesn't have a finishing point per se, so I put it here as continuous, and I put it as playing, and then it has all these different status, such as what platform are you playing it in? Is it physical or digital? Let me switch it here to digital. How did you buy the game? How much time do you have in the game? If you consider the game finished, how much time did you spend on it? So it then tracks all that data to feed it to other players. But that can be quite overwhelming. And as of recently, I have been thinking about it, and the more I want to focus more on playing my games and do my own thing, this sort of things have been putting me off. And even though it has the feature I most currently want, which is journaling, that I have done a little bit here when I was playing mostly on my Switch, it doesn't really have that simplicity that I crave, that I can just hop in, do like one or two checklists in regards to what I played that day and hop out. Because with all this thing that is in your face, I think it can be quite overwhelming. So when it comes to Infinite Backlog, I would describe it as a self-contained experience and social media type of platform that you would enjoy more if you are outside of common social media such as YouTube, like Twitter if you still use that, Instagram, and you don't interact in gaming communities like Discord outside of this. Because here, and despite them having a Discord, this is pretty self-contained. You will meet people here who have certain goals in terms of their backlog, and you can discuss whatever you want with them. But as I mentioned, more and more recently, I have craved a simpler UI, a simpler platform, and that's where the platform where I certainly started my backlog journey comes along, which is Backloggd. Now, as you can see, immediately Backloggd is way simpler, especially when it comes to your profile. You have your favorite games, you have your stats for 2025, which is the year we're currently in, and then you have your reviews. I have written quite a few reviews if you want to check them out. I will leave the links to both my profiles in the description. So, Backloggd is quite different. It's way more simple and straight to the point, and that's what I personally enjoy in this. And especially when it comes to RPGs, the thing we're talking about in this channel, it's way more simple because you won't feel like you're spending too much time and the platform is pushing you to spend too much time on it, because you will just come in and do what you want and hop out. And the UI, despite not being the main thing that the platform should strive towards, because it's the features that these platforms are all about, makes it so you're less distracted by the small things and focused on just the backlog. And the fact is that you can just come in and you have this button right here that says log a game, which you can just hop in, quickly log and hop out. For example, today I played a little bit of the War Within again. I did 2 Mythic Plus dungeons. So I come here, I press log a game, it opens up a tab in which I will search War Within. Now I'll press it here, World of Warcraft. Come here to the journal and press. Okay, I was in December because I was logging it for the past year yesterday. So I will come here, press September, and it's as simple as coming here to the 14th, which is today, and pressing it. And that's all you need. If you want, you can put in some notes, but it really doesn't push you towards doing everything in regards to what you did that day. So it leaves it up to you how much journaling you really want to do. And this simplicity is something that helps you go game to website to back to the game really, really quickly, which is something that if you really are intent on beating your games is a must, because you want to spend as least time as possible in Chrome, and as much time as possible in game. So in Backloggd, contrary to Infinite Backlog, you will not be able to have that community and social experience. Even by the main page you can already see that, because going here to the main page, it just shows you a little bit of your own stats at the top, and then tells you some of the games that are popular with the people you are following and the people that you followed, shows you some trending games, and goes into the games themselves. It doesn't focus on community, it doesn't focus on feeding you stuff that you don't care about. It just says, here are some games, here are what you played, do you want to add anything to your profile? If not, go back and game more. Backloggd is a different case. You can say that it's lacking in features as of today, but the developer only went full time this year, so it probably will add more stuff. But the differences are immediate if you log into one or another. So let's say Infinite Backloggd is more of a social media type platform, and Backloggd is more similar to stuff like Letterboxd. If you know what Letterboxd is, that is exactly what a platform such as Backloggd is trying to emulate. And here, the most community aspect of it you will find out is just going down here, seeing the developer update, which is a small note in the main page, and then checking lists and reviews that people are putting out. But it's as simple as this. You even have like coming soon games if you want to get some more games in your library. But this is all you need to know about Backloggd. And Backloggd is indeed the platform that I'm going to go back to now and start using a little bit more, because coming out of like playing WoW as my main game for the last 2 months, I need simplicity. I need to spend as least time as possible in the platforms and playing more, and I think Backloggd and the simplicity it provides is exactly what I need for that. What I won't do is stop journaling, and that's a topic for another video, but I will leave a small note of intention here of what I want to talk about in that specific video about journaling, because journaling is the best way you can motivate yourself and see progress even if little progress has been made. Because going back to the platform and even just marking that you play the game on that day not only helps you keep track of how much time you're spending on each game, because if you see your calendar and see that you played that game on that certain day, you will maybe notice that you're making progress on that game, or maybe you will understand why you're not playing other games and where your time is being spent. Because even though these are things you can probably think you are going to keep track of naturally, you can pretty much lose yourself and lose thousands of hours just playing a game, and you have to motivate yourself by going back and looking at it and see why your time was lost and manage your time efficiently. And it's with platforms like these that you can do that properly. And there's no shame in using external tools and just not resorting to a notepad or something like that, but that's all right as well if you want to do that. But these external tools are here for you to use them and make the most of them to make your backlog journey not only more enjoyable but easier on yourself. This is especially important if you are an RPG fan, because RPGs, as you know, can get quite long. They can go up to 100 or 200 hours, and sometimes you really want to play 2 or 3 things at a time. And when you are doing that and you are tackling 2 to 3 100-hour or more RPGs, you really need to log and journal what you are doing, because there's no worse feeling than heading into a game that you have been playing for 100 hours after taking a short break of 1 or 2 days that maybe can end up being a week, in not knowing what you were doing, not knowing what was the last thing you've done, what was the goal you wanted to achieve when you came into your next gaming session. And having a log as an RPG player is a God-given goal. Especially in my case, where I'm tackling MMORPGs and single-player games, it helps me keep track of my goals in different characters, like inside of games such as World of Warcraft, and the games I am playing like single-player games, which now are Silksong and other games such as Torchlight, and even help me take small notes of what I want to do in regards to recording and videos that I want to make. So that's how useful it can be for you as an RPG player, because we also always have to have that RPG touch in these videos. But I'd love to know what you think about this. You probably backlog your games. Everyone does nowadays. It has become sort of a trend, but I'd love to know what you prefer on these platforms. What pushes you more towards the community aspect of infinite backlog, or what pushes you more towards the simplicity of platforms such as Backlog? I will probably make more videos on this topic, as I think RPG players and backlogs go hand in hand, as we have a lot of games that we still need to play, and most of our library consists of games that are way too long for our own liking. But as I said, leave a comment if you want to tell me something and want to add any input to this conversation. Subscribe so you don't miss any other episodes of RPG Talk. And other than that, this has been the Retro Den, and I'm out.